on your end?
Yes, I actually got all the fun stuff in the beginning.
Okay, great.
I had it just in case for collateral, Brian.
Yes.
Just in case you said something crazy. Yeah, are you ready, guys?
Yeah, we're ready.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Unlimited Lives, everybody. I'm your host, TJ. With me is my co-host for these fun combat episodes, Brian McGinnis from Playable Characters Podcast.
Hello. What's going on, man?
Fun, awesome guest today, Brian.
We do. From the great documentary, which, check it out, I have.
Wow.
Insert coin. I'm a backer, my friend. Josh Tsui is here, everybody.
Nice.
How are you, man?
Awesome. Hey, good. Thanks for having me on. Great to see that Blu-ray in your hand.
Dude, yeah. I mean, I got it. I was excited to get it. It's beautiful. It's a great doc. And look at the screen here. Look at this. 8th one down. Proud backer. Look at that.
There
Brian McGinnis.
When
I heard about this, whenever the Kickstarter was out, I was like, hell yes. I'm going to back this in a second. Narc was my favorite arcade game.
Oh, so good.
NBA Jam is, I think, the best arcade game besides Turtles. MK is obviously one of the best. So I was like, this is going to be the best thing. And you did not disappoint one bit, I think, in this documentary.
Thank you so much.
So there's not a single dull moment. I was telling TJ, it's like every chapter in this thing is just like, oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
it was
awesome.
Great. I immediately, when Brian told me about it, I bought it on iTunes.
Gotcha.
Just to watch it. Because I love Midway and I love Mortal Kombat. So it was like, but just like Brian said, yeah, it was like the whole, one of our friends, Jeff Ceruli's also, he makes docs too. And it's like, so he gets me into watching other ones too, but it was done extremely well. Beginning to end, I was like, when it was over, I was like, no.
Yeah. Good. That's what I want. People to want more.
Yeah. It seems like everybody you interviewed couldn't wait to tell their side or their story. Is that kind of the feeling you got? Because there's so much footage you got. It seems.
Yeah, like. it was amazing. I mean, it felt like it felt like high school reunion. We had it's like 20 years later, people were ready to just kind of talk. And it was funny because when I first proposed the project to them, everyone was saying it's like, how come somebody hasn't done this already? Like, I can't believe I didn't come up with that idea and stuff. So I was happy to hear that. And they were super excited, and there was enough time has passed and everyone has kind of moved on to bigger and better things that they were very open about things. So if I wanted the film to feel like a couple of buddies sitting at a bar just talking about the past.
It seemed like it. So Jarvis, all those guys were just like they couldn't stop talking. So
and you say that is true. Like, I was shocked that it wasn't done. I'm like, why was this never made on like Midway? It was one of the biggest Williams doing it. It was like, what a cool journey. Yeah. But I even said to Brian, I was like, there's no Mortal Kombat doc at all, except for this one. And it's very weird that it was never, touched on until.
Maybe because it's still going. I don't know. Because it's still a thing, Mortal Kombat. Maybe
but there was something so awesome about the first, how they did the first one. Yeah. Dude, I did it after I watched the doc. I went on YouTube and just started watching all the behind the scenes of MK, watching them just doing this for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Over and over again at 5 different angles. Yeah. I was surprised too. I mean, it's funny because because I was working at Midway during that era, it always felt special to me, but I was never quite sure if it was special to other people. It was like we were the people in the military and everybody else was civilians. So we're like, were the civilians really that into it? And so when I first proposed the project, even I was thinking how many people are really gonna care about this? Because I thought to myself, well, nobody has made a documentary about this era, so maybe it wasn't as important as we thought it was. So it was very enlightening.
So what did you do at Midway? What were you doing there?
So I was I started back in the day, they would call it a video artist. So I would come in and I would just do anything that they wanted me to with art, with visuals. And so I got hired for WrestleMania, the arcade game. That was my first game I ever worked on. Nice. And what an incredible way to start off my career. My first game, I had the WWE, back then it was the WWF, wrestlers come to Chicago studio, and we would spend days with them shooting them in front of back then it was a gray screen. Yeah. And they hung out. Lex Luger was there, Razor Ramon, Bam Bam Bigelow. I mean, these guys were like coming in costume, hanging out with us for days, and it was just a blast. And so we would touch up the sprites, we would make environment props, like the the artist did a little bit of everything. There was no specialization, so I did that, and then went on to other games at Midway.
Seems like Midway's like, whatever you guys want to do, just do it. Like that was your job. Like it's like whatever you want. Like
it really was. Yeah, like the movie kind of gets into that, but it was basically like it was Lord of the Flies. Like the kids were running the island, and all the executives cared about was stay on budget, stay on schedule, just show us what you end up with, and we'll release it.
There you go. It's so awesome. That's great. I never thought about I went to art school for illustration. I never thought of doing like game design stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. Back then, when I started, this was the era. This is like right after the first Mortal Kombat and NBA Jam came out, and so they were really starting to pioneer the whole video thing. But all the artists up until then were all illustrators. They all had comic book and illustration backgrounds, and so you would have, like back in the day, you would have been perfect. And then when I came in, I was a video guy. I studied film video in college, and so I was kind of like this weird person coming in with all this video knowledge. And obviously they had some people who knew video too. And so there was like this weird 10-year period where they stopped doing illustrations, started doing more video.
Yeah.
And then in the 2000s, that's when 3D came along. So it was like this weird window of time that I had a great opportunity to work there.
Yeah. You would see with the character designs, you'd see like how in Illustrator it looked.
Yeah.
It always looked so cool.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was the concept art. It always looked amazing.
Yeah.
So it's great, man.
Yeah.
What a trip.
Yeah, no, it's fun times. And but like it was like I said, it's having lived through that, it just felt like a great topic for a documentary.
Yeah. I feel like every company back then, going back to Atari, could have its own documentary and just about have the wild and crazy times. Like you hear this stuff that happened back then. Like there's probably so many things that haven't been told yet.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, it's just like the Midway story itself. I think what you saw on screen in the feature doc, it was probably a third of everything that was out there. So much, just running time. You couldn't have a 5-hour movie. I would have loved a 5-hour movie, but
yes, so would I. I'm fine with
it. Do it.
I did the super cut
thing. I'll buy it. I want to see everything.
Yeah, it's like Brian, you backed us back in 2015, so it took like 5 years to do. Can you imagine how long it would take me to do a 5-hour version of this film?
Yeah. I did. I wanted more bonuses too. There's a bunch of good bonuses. I'm like more. This is so great. Yeah, there's some great stuff. I mean, you have such cool footage, such cool anecdotes from everybody. It was such a blast to watch.
Thank you. Thanks.
Everything about it. Yeah. So what are some of your? So you started working right after MK1. What are some of your? Let's go back a little bit. Your favorite MK1 fatalities, or even moves, or even character. Like, do you have any?
Well, so my favorite character was Scorpion, but I think that's that's an easy one. Just the rope dart and teleportation things. I really liked Raiden a lot.
Me too.
But I'm back. Well, the first game only had like 8 characters, right? Like maybe not. I think it's 9 characters. 7. Yeah. So every character was your favorite because you only had so many, But it's interesting because my favorite Mortal Kombat game out of the entire series, and I'll completely admit, I pretty much stopped playing after Mortal Kombat 4. I would play the other ones here and there, but like I was like really hardcore playing up until 4. But my favorite is still Mortal Kombat 2. It was just such a massive step up from the first game, and having knowing the team that worked on the game, and especially John Tobias, who is the co-creator of Mortal Kombat. He's in the video game industry, I feel like that he's like he's people know of him, but people really should I don't know, celebrate him a lot more, because the work that they did on the character design and the storyline, you don't see that too often in arcade games. And he really built a lore around that. So, but yeah, I really liked MK1 stuff. I liked a lot, but it was really MK2 that really sucked me in. Like I spent just ridiculous hours playing that game.
Hundreds of dollars of quarters. Oh, you probably got it for free, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That was a benefit. Yeah.
Were you guys able to just go into work and on lunch break just play it for free by just hitting start on the cabinet?
All the games, all the games at Midway. I mean, yeah, it's like it's weird. It really messed me up to go to arcades because once you get into that realm, then it's like I never want to pay for games again. Yeah. And also knowing some of the dirty tricks that Midway used to do that suck more quarters in. Once you got in the peek behind the curtains, you're like,
oh, that's funny.
I'm never doing that. Yeah, I'm never doing that again.
That was the great thing in the doc was the psychology behind quarter pumping.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh no, you feel gross. You're like, oh, it worked though.
Yeah, no, it was nuts. I mean, obviously arcade games really became huge in the 80s and they made money, but a lot of people forget the incredible amount of money arcade games were making in the 90s. And it's because in the 90s, that's when competitive games came in, like fighting games. And that's when co-op games came in, like an NBA Jam or Turtles type game. And so that's when they really perfected the idea of getting more quarters in per second,
because now it's 2, 3, or 4 quarters.
Exactly.
Or like 6 for X-Men or something.
Yeah. I mean, think about that. Think about like an NBA Jam. It's like each person has to put in a quarter to play 1 quarter. So it's $1 for 3 minutes. And so, it's $4 for 3 minutes for 4 players. Yeah. You multiply that by 4. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Who's playing just 1 quarter?
That's exactly it. If you see somebody playing by themselves, the NBA Jam was probably the most friendliest game because if I saw somebody playing NBA Jam, I'd like, oh, I'm going to go play against them.
Who's your team?
Oh man, Well, obviously the Bulls because being Chicago.
Yeah.
And then I played a lot of the Pistons, not because I like Detroit because I'm a Chicago person here, but I knew that under the curtains that the Pistons had an advantage.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and that's true. That's like, and talking about how much money these games made in the 90s, there were so many dirty tricks. One part that didn't get into the documentary was that when you play NBA Jam and it says it's 3 minutes for a quarter, it's not a real 3 minutes. No. It's actually about 2.5 minutes.
It's quick.
Yeah, it's quicker than that. And the thing is that, and so Mark Trammell, the design, he would always do these little tweaks here and there. And they actually found that when it was a real 3 minutes, people actually played less. It felt a little too long. So they benefited by that, by that feeling, by shortening it down. But now you can get more quarters per minute, at the arcade.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that, but now I'm going to start setting a timer every time.
Yeah, exactly. But always play with the Pistons because Pistons will always, if it's a close game at the end, Pistons will almost always win.
Yeah, that's so funny. I was a Orlando Magic guy because of Penny. The second one. So I played them. Yeah. That's the only sports game TJ plays is NBA Jam.
I'm not a sports guy at all. That was the only sports game I would relatively.
It's so fun.
I love the idea that you catch the ball on fire and it added such a weird fun element to it.
Yeah. That game really, obviously Mortal Kombat is still a huge franchise and everything, but back then, and to me, I still think it's one of the most perfect arcade games ever made because it was easy to play. It was based on sports, but not really, and then on top of that, like everybody played that game. Like, I would hear stories about people going to like Penn Station in New York, commuting home, seeing businessmen playing against teenagers in NBA Jam while they're waiting for their trains,
You know what? It was a big cabinet. It was loud.
Yep.
It drew you in. It attracted everybody. You walk by, you hear Kitsrow yelling the whole time. So it's like, what he was so weird in the documentary. What was he like? Is he like that? Like in the whole time? Just
he's absolutely like that. He's kind of he's just when I shot his interview, we were at a barcade in Chicago, and luckily it was before they got too busy, but he was literally like screaming, like when he's yelling boom shakalaka, I mean, you hear it echoing in the whole place. He's awesome. And he's great. Like we've had screenings of the film and special events and stuff. And he's always my ace in the hole to get people revved up. Before, after the screening or before the screening, I'll have him do an announcement and people just love him.
Me and TJ are both voice actors, so it's funny he wore the scarf the whole time.
Yeah, I've done that before.
I was wondering about that. Yeah, it's like
gotta keep the voice warm. Yeah,
it's such a weird. Yeah, that drinking a bunch of throat coat tea and chugging honey before. Like, I go into a VO thinking I'm like, oh, my voice has like I book on how terrible it sounds, so I do the opposite. I like
me and you are
my throat, and I start.
We go the other way.
Wow.
I try to really ruin it. They're like, you sound smoother today. Can you change that? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll go scream for a couple of
I start screaming on the way to the train.
That's funny.
Just to break my voice. But MK2 is MK2 is definitely
it's so good. And the jump up, the step up, because I was telling on the last episode we talked about when I first saw MK2, I played 1 for 2 years, I guess, like every day almost at the arcades. And when 2 came out, I was like, oh, it doesn't look as good. It's too cartoony. But then when you really look at it, you're like, oh shit, this is amazing. Like this looks so good. The characters are awesome. It's bright. They're big. It's
they look bigger.
Yeah,
better in every way.
The graphics really hold up. And I mean, and again, it's a testament to the artists that work. And a lot of people think that they just shot a bunch of actors and put them in the game. And it's like every single frame of animation is hand touched by the artist. I mean, they go in and like just put in the details, pump up the colors and everything. And, the backgrounds by like Tony Goski and John Tobias and others are, they're all like pixel by pixel bitmap paintings, and they're just gorgeous. And you look at them now and they still hold up. You look at early 2000s 3D games, and they look horrible.
And 64 games don't hold up. Or PS1 games don't hold up.
They don't hold up. But like the 2D stuff, like when it's done well, holds up really well.
Yeah.
But you compare it to like, let's say, Pit Fighter, or from Atari, or the Street Fighter the movie game. Like they didn't. It's nothing against them, but they didn't. You can tell that the amount of work in the artwork wasn't quite the same, so they just don't hold up well.
No.
The one thing I want Ed Boon to do so badly, he's always like, what game should we make next? Guy like on Twitter, he's always trying to troll people. I just want him to redo TMNT Tournament Fighters so bad.
Tournament Fighters,
because he put the turtles in Injustice 2 as DLC, and they nailed it so hard. I'm like, can we please get a new Tournament Fighters? It would be so awesome.
Gotta start a petition.
I know. I think people have. Like, people are just dying for it.
He loves trolling people online, and
he's fun.
And that's an old. That goes all the way back to the Midway days and the early internet days.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the game designers, everyone, they would read through like Usenet postings, and they see something, they're like, oh, okay, let's put that into the game. They'll literally, I mean, it's almost like they were crowdsourcing ideas back in the early days. And so a lot of times someone will say like, oh, what's this Ermac thing? It must be a character. And then they'll read about it and they're like, oh wait, you know what? Let's just put them in the next update, or put another hit in there.
Where Animalities came from in the third.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Weird rumors in the second one that people just made. Like, we talked about the rumors last week of like, the rumor of uppercutting them in the living tree forest, and the tree would eat them. And in 9, I think was it in 9 or 10? They added the tree forest where you can uppercut them and the tree would eat them. It just was. They do these beautiful little like, he trolls people like that, but then they do a lot of fan service stuff. For even like 11 has a lot of like they started adding brutalities with like old MK2 fatalities. So it's just neat stuff. It's awesome.
It's like that's always been the tradition. It was just like it's just back then. It was constantly just like let's see what the fans like, and it goes back to the arcade days where we used to test games. So we would take games that weren't done yet, take them to the arcade, like local arcades, and kind of sit back in the room and watch people play.
I love that idea of that happened. Like, just put it there and just see what happens. I love that.
And you would see immediately. It's not like now when you're designing games where you put out a beta and then people are very anonymous in their feedback. Like, you don't really get that face to face, And so back then it was just like they would see how people are behaving and then take the game back and go change it based off of what they see in real life. And so because of that, I think, with the internet age, it's always about just scouring through things, scrubbing through things, and seeing what they can pick out to kind of drive people crazy later on.
Love it.
That's so awesome. Can you imagine some kid playing Ed Boon in Mortal Kombat?
So what do you think? Like, what do you think, kid?
Hey, kid, what do you think of this game?
This sucks. Fuck you.
Yeah. How many quarters have you pumped in, kid? Like, Mister, leave me alone.
Exactly.
my favorite thing about Narc was the guy who they based Mr. Big off of, the final boss, that he was actually, it's so funny they made him the face of it.
Yeah.
And he didn't know for years later, but he's like, I want to make you the final villain.
Make you the bad guy. Yeah, that's Mark Lafredo. Yeah. And like Lafredo, and he could have his own chapter. Like all of the hardware that Midway used from, I think, very early on, back in the Williams days, like Sinistar and things like that. That was Mark Lafredo, like designing the hardware, designing the computers and stuff. And so it wasn't, it's not like now you can go, you're just going to pop a PC into a cabinet and make an arcade game. Back then, all those boards were done by hand and they were designed by him. And so he designed all those games through Narc, through Mortal Kombat, all the way up to the 3D games, and leading up to MK4 and Cruising USA and all these other things. And
he's a hero.
He is a hero. No, it's like, his small team was doing the work of, a massive, corporation like Sony and such, And so, it's, I wish that was one of those things. It was like many things that I wish that I could have said. It was just kind of heralding how much of his work influenced so much of the games.
Yeah. That's amazing. It is cool how it was a couple of small, groups here and there, and they built this company that made some of literally the best arcade games ever made, still to this day.
Yeah, I think so.
besides Turtles and X-Men, you get the three best are MK, NBA Jam, and Narc was just it was so crazy back then. I loved it.
It was crazy.
The Porsche, my God, it was so much fun.
Yeah,
even though it lasts for 2 seconds. The Porsche, it was so much fun to drive.
Yeah, and they were like, I mean, Narc. I remember the first time I saw Narc in an arcade, I was kind of taken aback because it was just like, wait, like these are like kind of real life digital people, and I'm shooting them with a grenade launcher, and there's syringes, there's drug dealers. Like you just didn't see that. There was like the machine next to it, like was like a Donkey Kong or something like that. And it's just like it just seems so extreme that you had to pay attention to it. And
it's the best. Yeah,
and it just I think the success of that really just informed the entire '90s output from that group.
Oh heck yeah. That's awesome.
So good.
Do you want to dive in, Teach?
Yeah,
go for it.
Yeah, let's dive in. So, Josh, we have these in an order, but I think you should choose your top 5, and then we could talk about them.
Well, for
MK3.
For MK3, what's the top 5 characters? TJ?
Yeah, like your top favorite ones.
Do you have some favorites from MK3?
Yeah, you have Katana, Reptile, Sonya, Jax, Nightwolf, Jade, Scorpion, Kano, Melina, Ermac, Sub-Zero, Sector, Sindel, Striker, Cyrax, Wow, Cabal. Hold on, Shiva, Sung, Liu Kang, Smoke.
There you go.
The Ninja.
Oh my God! Wait, was Baraka in 3?
No. He wasn't. He was in 2.
It was in 2. Okay, I think it was in 2. Jeez,
it was a weird thing because in 2 they took out Kano and Sonya weren't in 2.
Yeah,
and then Baraka wasn't in 3. And Baraka was one of my favorites, and I was so bummed.
All right, so and there's gonna be random reasons why I liked them. It's sometimes not necessarily because of the characters, but all right. So Sector and and oh my God, who's the we call them ketchup and mustard. So to this day, it's still Cyrax. Yeah. So I like it. So those two, like I consider them the same characters, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
So I like them a lot. But yeah, I always call them ketchup and mustard. They were called that for so long. I still let's see, Sonya, because Carrie Hoskins is awesome. I mean, she's Midway's it girl,
I couldn't believe that from the doc that she did so many other things. I didn't know
she did a ton of things.
That was crazy to learn about.
Yeah. And that ended up in the Blu-ray as an extra, but I really wish I kept that in the main film.
Yeah. So basically, she just answered the phone one day because you needed a model or a Playboy girl or something to do something, and she's like, "Well, I can do it." She was like a good-looking blonde lady, and she went and did it. She was the cheerleader for Jam, right? And then she eventually was Sonya,
Yep.
Right, and a couple of like random things. And
Yeah,
she was like
Mistress Helga in Revolution X, which is
the go-go dancer. You know, so that's crazy.
She was like just a secretary or something.
Yeah, so she was
a producer or something.
Yeah, she was working at Playboy. So first, I mean, she was she was a model for Playboy.
Yeah,
and then she worked there as a producer. And because Playboy was headquartered in Chicago back then. And
TJ knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know everything about
it. They write the best articles.
Yeah, that's my favorite reading material.
Yeah, reading material, exactly. But she basically, she answered the phone, and Jack Hager, who was he was helping out the NBA Jam guys, and he called over saying, "Hey, we need a couple of models to be cheerleaders for this NBA Jam game." And
you go right to Playboy, not just like a
regular... That's just the mindset. Oh, there's like a million venues, not Playboy, you know.
Nope.
It's like someone was like, "Hey, you guys want to have a casting call?" Some other guy goes, "I got a better idea. How would you guys like to meet Playmates?"
Yeah. It's such a Chicago 90s thing, But yeah, so Carrie answers the phone, and then she knew another person working there that was a cheerleader, so she just kind of like tagged along with her, and next thing you know, she's in every Midway, like literally like every Midway game. There was a I don't know if you guys remember, there were a lot of people don't know, there was a Mortal Kombat Special Forces game that came out, but there was actually another Special Forces that never got released. And that has Sonya in it, and Carrie was in that one. I'll give you a whole long story later on about that one, but that was like the long lost Mortal Kombat game.
Wow. Was it a fighting game?
It was like it was, I mean, the original Special Forces was a game that me and John Tobias had worked on, and it was more I hesitate to call it, it was almost like kind of like a Metal Gear Solid type of game.
Was Jax like the star of that one?
Well, Jax and Sonya were both. You could switch off between the two, and then me and John left Midway to start up our own company, and so that version of Special Forces didn't get finished, and so another team took it over, and they completely redid it and made it strictly a Jax game. I've never played it, but I've heard it's not great. So.
Right, that's the rumor. Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, so
some footage of that.
Yeah, so it's weird. But anyways, sorry. So what was it? Cyrax and Sector.
Yeah.
Sonya. I mean, I got to go with Scorpion. It's just every game he's done, I'm gonna like. So what? That's 3, 4.
That's 4.
4. Okay.
You could do more than 5. I mean,
no. Was it? No, I loved Kung Lao.
Nice.
Kung Lao rules.
Yeah,
he's my go-to for MK11.
Yeah, no, it's like his. I forgot the name of the move, but like when you're when he's in the air and then he darts down diagonal.
Oh yeah.
Very effective.
I just mastered that move back in the day. So like I was just ridiculously good at that. But yeah, no, those those are my top 5.
Let's dive into those fatalities. I'll show you on the screen, but we'll start with Sonya. All right. So she had 2 very similar fatalities. She had 2 kiss of deaths basically in this one. So she had in the first one, she had the kiss of death.
Which I thought, by the way, just to touch of the dock again, was so awesome how that fatality was created. She's like, I don't know, I don't want to do something gross. Can I just blow a kiss? And everyone's like, sure.
We'll just make them explode. That's all when you're not looking.
Yeah, I love that.
So here's the first one. Blows a kiss and whack, on fire.
Yeah.
So you immediately burn.
And then you collapse into bones. Yeah. Also, you scream continuously.
Yeah. And that animation, the fire animation, that's all hand drawn, hand animated.
Really?
Tony Goski is by far the best pixel artist I've ever seen in my life, and that's literally him hand drawing that.
That's awesome. Look at that. It looks great. It's one of the best.
Those animations.
That is funny, TJ. You said they do scream the entire time. Even though they're just bones, they're still screaming. Oh!
Yeah, there's no lungs, but they're just like, it's like,
sure, why not?
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things, like the words. So that's Sonya. That's the girl that just
Yep. It's Carrie Hoskins.
She was in Playboy.
Yeah.
What issue specifically?
What?
Go check your back issues right now.
Yeah. What was the articles in that issue? The one about basketball?
Let's rank this one. Scale of 1 to 10. How much do you think this hurts? I put. I'll tell you what I did. Kiss of Death Burn. I gave it an 8. You know why? Because getting burned alive fucking hurts a lot. I'm gonna imagine. And your entire skin. It's not like a little bit. Your entire skin is just gone instantly. I give it 8 out of 10. I think it's gonna hurt a lot.
Oh.
What do you think, Tej?
I give it a 9 because I think, she psychs you out. You're like, oh, I'm getting a kiss blown. And then you burn alive and you burn so fast that you continue screaming to break the sound barrier.
Yeah.
Also, I think in your head, you're like, she's not going to do this again. And then you burn.
I would give it 9 out of 10. When bones scream, it's bad. It's just like, come on.
Bones.
Can we write that quote down? When bones scream, you know it's bad.
Isn't that a Prince song? When bones scream? Yeah.
When bones scream, I love it.
We should make that.
Love it. That's very funny.
That's funny, man.
Great.
This one very similar. Another kiss of death from her. It's got the energy thing. Okay. Here's why this is, I think, look at it. So it comes at you and then boom, it smushed. By the way, people can watch this at twitch.tv/laughatbrian. That's mine if you guys are listening later on the podcast.
Also, Josh, if I'm going to ask you while we get into this, why was there 40 arms and 30 rib cages?
So that was the Midway style. So it's like it's kind of like when Union Jarvis suggested in Smash TV to like keep adding blood, like multiply by like 1,000. Awesome. That was the thing. What it is that it's the idea, and this came from RoboCop. Okay, so RoboCop, it was one of those things where it's like when the Ed 209 was killing the guy in the boardroom. Yeah, and the original, if you ever see the director's cut of it, they just kept killing it just kept shooting the guy. It wouldn't stop. And it was comedic as hell because it was just so extreme. And so the idea is that if you basically explode somebody and everything's anatomically correct and it's the right number of bones, it borders on humorous but also grotesque. If you're putting out 20 rib cages, and 5 skulls, now this is like stupidly cartoonish. It kind of gets away from any question that this is supposed to be ridiculous. So that was always the case. And like I said, in Smash TV, it was just like, if you just put a little bit of blood, it feels a little gross. But if you multiply it by 100, now you're in the cartoonville. You're in like the old Warner Brothers Looney Tunes type of violence, right. And then that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's so funny. I always wondered that when I played the game, I'm like, why are there 4? I was like, 8 people?
Exactly.
That's so funny. So many femurs.
It's funny because in MK1 it was like it's pretty correct, I guess, as far as when you kill someone. But in 2, we mentioned everything's exploding. No matter what it is, you're just exploding. And this one is just like there's bones everywhere. It's great.
3 is a lot more like and there's so many characters, but it's like this one. 3 was so ridiculous.
Yeah. So this one, there's one part. So the last one I gave an 8. This one I give a 9. Here's why.
Oh, me too.
Beam, you too? You want more sound effects?
Flawless victory.
Nice. So I gave it a 9 because this one part right at the end where it kind of looks like it crushes you really quick, like boom, right there.
Yeah.
That I feel like is going to hurt so bad. Look at this. Just like you don't know what's going on. You're like, I'm in this thing. I'm in this ball of energy. And then all of a sudden you just
think it's pretty. You're like,
what
if purple
crushes and you explode. So I gave it a nice, close to a 10, but I gave it a 9.
Yeah, I give it a 9.
Okay, Josh, what do you say?
I don't know. I see after seeing bones screaming, it's kind of hard to top that. So
that's fair.
I would give it like a 7 because there's something about like this thing. It's like a womb around you. There's something comforting about it. So it's like you're kind of lulled into relaxing. So then it explodes. I mean, granted, the explosion is probably painful, but I don't know. It seems a little bit more calming.
It's a solid point.
Yeah,
it's a great point.
That's a great point.
Great point.
All right, interesting. So Sonya,
purple.
Still 2 pretty good fatalities for Sonya's comeback in MK3.
2 pretty good ones. 2 lovely kisses.
Let's do a Scorpion.
Oh, you don't want to do the animality?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What is her animality?
Her animality is, and this was also like, again, like these were so weird, but it was such a like a rumor that came true, which was neat. So a lot of animals in this one glow. There's like a couple that don't glow that are just animals, but hers is a glowing green eagle.
Right.
And I think she dives down and then she picks you up off screen. And I think you explode and
of course.
Of course.
Pieces fall. But that was a weird, the animalities were super weird.
They were I feel like they didn't catch on as much as they should have, because it's a cool idea.
Yeah,
but maybe because they all kind of look with that glow. Like Josh, what was with that? Did you know why they had that glow?
Because back in the day, this is a pre-modern internet. Like finding source materials was impossible.
Okay.
And so the thing is that it's like, and this is a fairly educated guess because I didn't work on these and stuff, but it was basically they would find like random images of like an eagle or something like that, and then they would cut it, and by tinting it green and giving it a glow, it gives it a consistency across the board, because the sources came from anywhere. It can be a magazine or a newspaper, or it could have been color or black and white. So by doing that, you have a uniform look. But if you look at it, there's almost no animations to it. They're like they're pretty cheap, and this is one of the problems with chasing internet information and trade. It's almost like an early version of memes. It's kind of like we're going to put something completely meaningless in here that has a reference to something else, and then it just didn't travel well over the years.
I got you.
Yeah. How they morph into it is interesting. Like it's the animal, but the animal attacks are all like, "Go!"
Exactly.
Like it was like it's just.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like they started to do it, and then halfway they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, let's just get it done.
I know. It was literally like, it's like, we have a photo of a polar bear. What can we do with this?
It's like a Monty Python animation.
And a lot of people forget that back then Photoshop wasn't Photoshop. Back there, like I'm not even sure if they have Photoshop during MK3 or not, but it's like the way you can manipulate images where you can only do so much. So, and I think it's probably at the end of production, so there's just not much time to do. You have to do anything.
Yeah. They're like, I guess throw these in. I don't know what. It's fine.
That's funny. Scorpion, fan favorite, third MK in a row where he has this thing.
Oh, Screaming Bones again,
which is like it's fine, but the third game in a row where he does the same exact thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on, Scorp. We get it.
Yeah, I actually thought
good. It's good, but
was in the first or second one that it was more of a torch coming out of his mouth.
Yeah,
yeah.
First one, or it was like a more of a spray torch.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, this one looked like a fireball. I mean, this of course looks like the Game Boy Advance version.
Yeah, it might have been. Sorry, it's hard to find gifts of all this stuff.
Yeah.
So again, it's solid. I'm just saying, I wanted something more from Scorpion. That's all. But coming
off MK2, where he had a burn, and then he had the one where he slices your throat, and cuts your torso off. With a spear this big.
Yeah. Yeah, that his MK2 was pretty brutal. I thought
it's great. So Burn Alive was like, I give it a 7.
Me too.
For Screaming Bones.
It's gonna hurt no matter what. You might be like, oh, this again, okay, but it's still gonna turn you to bones.
Yeah, I think a 7 is a good call. I think I still think Sonya's is better just because it's just more. There's more of a suspense of the thing floating around.
Yes,
this is just like a straight shot.
Like once Scorpion takes his mask off, everyone's like, we know what's gonna happen now.
She's still scared, but she knows what's coming.
Yeah, she's like, oh god, this again.
This one I don't understand. The 1,000 Scorpion fatality where he does this thing.
He brings you to hell.
Then 1,000 Scorpions just like gangbang you. What's going on here?
They all like you hear like a bunch of punching, and then you hear like splatting crunching.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing about it, and
it's such a weird one.
The thing about
unique.
This one was in MK3 for some reason they really enjoyed. I think there's another fatality that the screen goes dark.
It's a Sub-Zero, the Sub-Zero ninja.
Zero's the ninja,
yeah.
Screen goes black, and then you hear like the head rip, and it's like,
use your imagination.
There was only so much space that you can put on these games.
It's funny they literally ran out of space.
No, it's true. I mean, there was no hard drive. These were all on ROM chips, and so I mean, yeah, it's like there was enough space for audio, but not much else after some point.
That's great. This one, because I don't really know what happened. I think the holy shit factor is a lot because you're getting sent to hell and being fought by.
I gave it an 8 because it reminds me of being jumped in school by a bunch of clones of one boy.
that happened?
Yeah, the bully got cloned and it was bad.
Yeah. I give this one a 7 also on this one. So, Josh, what do you think 1,000 Scorpions death would be?
You know what? I would have to give it an 8 because it's leaving you to the imagination. So it's basically whatever's the most horrible things happen to you, you're imagining that.
Yeah,
as you're looking at a dark screen. You know?
That's just true. You hear in football scrums where they put their fingers in people's I feel like that's happening here. Like a bunch of one Scorpion's gonna be a real dick. Like fuck you. Like just do something crazy.
I think it's
come on, man.
It's just a bunch of wedgies and fireballs.
Get over here.
Get over
here. You might be right. All right.
And then this one was super weird. His animality, he turns into a penguin, and not a glowing penguin, by the way, gentlemen.
It didn't glow.
Just a regular penguin, and he walks over, lays an egg, and then walks away, and then the egg explodes.
Why wouldn't he be a scorpion?
Because that's what Shiva is.
Right. Cool. I feel like they messed that up.
Yeah, that's odd. I don't recall that for some reason, but it doesn't surprise me.
It's funny. And they were just like, you wanted to be a scorpion. You're like,
Yeah, that is, You gotta remember, it's funny. It's easy to forget that the first 3 Mortal Kombat games, like the team size was maximum 5 people, like 4 people, and then Ed Boon programmed pretty much all of it himself. And so it's I'm sure at a certain point during crunch in the middle of the night, they were trying to get these animalities in. They're like, penguin? Yeah, whatever. And scorpion, penguin, sure.
It's so funny, but it's also, again, like I was saying, there's 4, I think there's a couple that are animated as the actual animal, and then there's the bunch there's just the glowing one.
Oh yeah, no, it's and not just with the MK, just in general, we were so overworked, and we loved it. I'll tell you, there's a really bad practice in game development, which is crunch hours and things like that, and it is horrible. But just speaking for myself and probably some of the people that worked with back in the day, we loved working on these games, and it just felt like we're working, like we're in Disneyland and stuff. We all love video games. We all loved working on them and stuff. So we were there, all hours of the day, and at nighttime we're playing games, and at the end of the games we go back to work again. We were there all the time. But also, it just after a while, you got this mental strain of not sleeping for days on end. So this is how you end up with a penguin with scorpion.
That's how you end up.
I feel like they were going through and okay, Shiva, Scorpion, good one, and they get the Scorpion, they're like, oh shit, fuck, we already used Scorpion, damn it. Sorry, we can't change it.
We're not going back.
We're not going back. Guys, it's fine. It's fine.
No one will know.
Nobody will care 30 years from now on a podcast about
guys, it's fine.
Let's start with a catch-up here with Sector, and I like Sector better than Cyrax. However,
Cyrax boy.
Most people were Cyrax boys because of his net. People love that fucking green net. That slow net. But Sector was awesome, man. He had 2 really cool fatalities, I thought.
Well, he also had even just I know, and usually there's too many characters. We were on the MK1 and 2.
We ranked all the moves also.
But it's when it comes to it's just it's overkill.
Yeah, he had the homing missile, which is awesome.
Missile, and I think
teleport punch,
which was
love that. I love that.
Teleport punch, homing missile was a good combo.
Very good. But his fatalities here, this one, the flamethrower. I like this predator like flamethrower. You know what I mean? He's got the thing from the arm. It looks cool. We've seen people get burnt to shit all the time in this game. This was a smidge different. He was a robot that could do it with his little arm cannon, which I thought was very cool. I gave this one Sector as I gave it a 6. I don't think it's the most painful thing. I just think it's kind of cool. But 6 for Sector's flamethrower. 7 for this one.
Yeah, I think you see the fire coming at. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier with the original Scorpion fatality, where you see more of a line.
Yeah,
I love the look of that.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah,
I love it's the same fire skeleton, but the skeleton's beautiful. So
what do you give it, Josh?
I mean, pain wise, I think it's like a 7. Yeah,
okay.
we've seen it already.
Yeah,
but I love the look of it. I think it's great. It's great.
He kneels, he aims, boom.
It's a great pose. That's the thing. It's a great pose.
Awesome. It's awesome. Look at it.
Yeah. You could tell at Cyrax those ninjas were wearing like the hockey gear and tights.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. if you like, yeah, I mean, it's I mean, by the time they got the third one, I know that they had more of a slightly more professional costumer come in. It's still still like BMX gear that's been painted and stuff like that. But if you look at like MK1 and 2 and some of the, I mean, it's like, yeah, they went to a sporting goods store and just like slap some things together.
Kano's wearing like a baggy shirt and like
exactly
like waiter pants, you know, like like a chef pants or something.
Like a maitre d'.
Yeah.
He doesn't work the shift at the local TGIF, you know.
Yeah.
Gotta go rip this person's heart out, right?
I got a fatality there. Can you cover my shift, babe? Oh, yes. Okay.
Did you watch the movie, Josh? Did you watch the Mortal Kombat movie yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God.
I know. Yeah, you know what? It was funny because I have HBO Max, and I didn't realize that it was only on.
They go away,
and then they go away. So like, I was finally ready to watch it. I was like, what the hell is it? Like, what the, you know? And at that point, it wasn't. You know, it wasn't. Did it come out? No, it wasn't out in theaters.
I don't know. So. Anyway, it's really good. It's like it's. They did a good job, but Kano is so over. He's hysterical. He's so over the top.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you fucking hey, yo, man, that just like with everything he does, it's great.
I heard he steals the show. Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. He's just he's always filthy. Oh yeah, play my game, you tits, then go back. Oh yeah.
That's basically him the whole time.
I can see through your clothes.
That's good.
Thank you so much.
So Sector has one of my favorite fatalities, I think, of all time. This one is so awesome and painful. I give it a perfect 10, by the way. Well, let's see it. The trash compactor. Oh. God, I fucking love that. It was so unexpected, I think, when you saw it for the first time. And for the thing to come out, completely crush you, and you see yourself, it's such a great fatality. I think it's perfect 10 for me.
Yeah, I give it a 10. That's our...
Because it's gonna hurt. So like you're getting smushed. It's not instantly. There's a little bit of hesitation. You see a little resistance right there. That one part, like right there. So you know it's like ow. Like,
it's such an Ed Boon thing. It's just like that little like. I
love that.
This is so funny.
Because in one of the Sub-Zero fatalities, like he rips the head off, but it's not instant. It's like there's a little struggle, and it looks like it hurts so much more. Just because of that.
Yeah, it's those little touches that make such a big difference, and people may not even notice it at first, but they can feel it. Yeah, there's like that hesitation is really is really good. But yeah, I love this one because it's again, it's like the extra blood work dripping off the edge, like the total Tony Goski thing, and then the fact that it has custom art made specifically for that fatality. It's not just not reusing anything. So I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, that one's really good. Sector is a really good one.
Yeah. Does he get a 10 from you, Josh?
Yeah, I guess a total 10. Yep.
Oh, look at that. One of the most painful fatalities there is.
One of the most painful. And then Sector, when you think of robot, you think of Vampire Bat.
That was his animality?
Yeah, he turns into a Vampire Bat, and I think and then he swoops and cuts your head off.
Yeah, he just bites you or cut your head off. I forget.
Do the wings even flap?
I don't know.
I remember. I literally watched all of them.
Oh my
There's
God.
on YouTube, and then you can watch like for 22 minutes. I just sat watching
eating popcorn. That's good.
Yeah. I know he cuts your head off. I should have made notes, but I know it's like I don't think it bites. I think he swoops.
There's too many gifts.
No flap, or maybe it was a little flap, like, and then it's like it's so weird. But that one's glowing. That's a glowing one.
Yep, of course. Cyrax, the other robot ninja here, fan favorite. People always use him in the arcade. All you have to do is block his net, and you'd thwart their plans of spamming the net there.
And that was so good.
Yeah. But he's got some cool fatalities here. This one, he just explodes himself.
Like Predator.
and you whiff it. So,
Yeah.
he looks like he did it, and he's like, "Oh no, man!" Like he got mad that he did it, and you just explode. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And the weird little predator signs and all that.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it hurts a ton. I give it a 6. This one.
Yeah,
because he's not exploding you, like you're exploding from his residual blast. I think so.
I give it an 8 because I think you come to and you're like, is he dancing? And then you explode.
Well, his friendship is doing the boogie woogie. He dances.
Oh my god!
I think remember that like the knees. Yeah.
Yeah, I would give it a 6. It's too instantaneous. You're not gonna feel anything. You know?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out that part where he's going like he looks like he's dancing. I'm trying to figure like was that a recycled move from somewhere else?
I think he's like shorting. I think it's supposed to be him shorting out.
Right. Yeah. No, it's interesting. A lot of times with these fatalities and such, they're recycling moves, but that one looks like it was made specifically for that.
Yeah, I think because he just throws the net and the bomb. Does he have an uppercut, a teleport also? No, right?
No, I think it's just
he just has the bomb. Yeah, so and then his other one. Oh yeah,
shark.
Why not?
He turns into a glowing shark, swims past you, and then jaws from the water. It's like a glowing blue shark. And then he eats.
It's funny. I never realized. So I'll completely admit that when I played these games, I very seldom did any of the fatalities, animalities. I just wanted to get to the next match as quickly as possible, you know. But like hearing you guys talk about the animalities, it really speaks to how. Again, it was just like, hey, somebody on the internet talked about animalities. Let's slap these in. And when you talk about it, it's like not only was the artwork slapped in very simply, but I just think the execution of it was basically it was so random. It was just like
so I'm telling you, they're completely random animals. Then the glowing is inconsistent, and like some of the animals, like we'll get to them like down the road in other episodes for me and Brian, but. There's just some they maul you for a few minutes and then you're that's it. There's no blood on you.
Yeah. This is what happens when you're chasing down things on the internet. It was just kind of like I think my theory is that they were so tired. It just felt like an obligation. And they're like, well, we committed to this. We gotta put something in there. So.
It had to be like the last day. All right,
exactly.
Guys, we got to finish this animality.
I'm telling you, all the ones that look like normal animals were what was made.
Yeah.
And then when they glowing is when they were like, man, I don't know, a skeleton rhino. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like Pokemon. It's like where the people that make Pokemon they start getting lazy, like garbage. I don't know what it's a bag of garbage. I don't know. Just go.
Go. Kids will love it. Don't worry about it.
Kids good. They get it.
Cyrex also had, I think, a super gross, painful fatality. His second one, which was the headcopter.
I like this one.
This one's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that one.
I think this one is so cool. Again, it was different, right? Unexpected. I think this one gets a perfect 10 because I mean, getting chopped up by a helicopter might be one of the most painful things that could happen to you. He goes through everything. Like he goes.
Well, it also like chunks through. Like watch.
Yeah.
You know.
It's so good.
And you have 8 legs, which is awesome.
It hurts even more then. It hurts even more.
Exactly.
The more legs that get chopped up. Perfect 10 right there for me.
I give it a 9 because I think at first you're like Inspector Gadget, and then like at first you're like Go Gadget helicopter, and then you get cut apart.
Yeah,
maybe your head first, so I think your brain will be destroyed, and this will hurt for like here to here, and then you're out.
That's true.
Yeah, boy, I was gonna give it a 10 out of 10, but now that you said Inspector Gadget, that knocks it down a little bit for me. So it doesn't. Yeah,
I mean,
I'll give it a 9 out of 10.
Okay, I'm holding firm. I think it's a 10. And then we got the last of your favorite. So you've told us Kung Lao, who was another fan favorite one here. He's got a similar.
I remember. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he's got a very similar one to his MK2, where he will just take his hat off.
Love that.
And slice you right in half.
Love that.
Wait, Kung Lao? No, dude. What are you doing? This is MK2.
Isn't this his? Doesn't he do this also in 3?
No.
Hold on.
He does he has two fatalities. He has the flying hat chop.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. Well, I have this one.
There
I have the tornado. Look at that. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's a good.
Yeah.
I love how the enemy he drags in is just like sleeping. Like, oh, here we go. Like, boom. So the tornado is definitely. I actually only give it a 5. That one.
Wow.
The tornado, because I don't know. Man, now I'm looking at it though, I might have to make it a 7 because you are kind of getting blended to shit right there.
Yeah.
So
I give it a 10 because
wow.
I give it a 10 because you think it's fun. You're like, wee, and then like you're getting pulled in. You're like, this is fun, and then you're just destroyed. So it's that, it's those two things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would give it like a 9 because you as a victim, you just can't control yourself. You're just like you're hovering to like a flight of light, and so yeah, I dig that. And just animation art wise, I love the look of it because I like his spin for one. I've always loved that move.
Yeah.
But at the end, when he comes out of spin, he does this awesome comic book pose. Like he like stretches his arms out and then strikes a pose.
Oh yeah, his victory pose.
Yeah, exactly. I've always just thought that was a great piece of motion that the actor did.
Oh yeah. Kung Lao had so many good poses in 2 and 3. Like I'm glad he made it in from 2 to 3.
Yeah. That like really speaks to the combination of the actors being real martial artists and they knew how to act to the camera, and so they came up with these great poses. And also John Tobias's background is a comic book artist, and so it's all about poses for him, and that really differentiated the Mortal Kombat games from other fighting games because it was always about finding. Obviously there's great moves and stuff, but like at the end of each move, hold a great looking pose. Create a great silhouette, and that's a great example of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of like analogous poses and stuff, which also comes from an artist's mind to like. There's all the poses and ending moves, like is even Scorpion's like putting his hands up like that. Yeah. Like Reptile does. It's just very interesting. Instead of just like an arm up, like I win.
Exactly. You see a lot of games in that era, trying, especially with like a lot of the MK type clones that came out that were using actors. They just didn't have that extra flair of having these awesome poses.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I
found a second one. My bad. It's this one, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Look at
that. The worst version of it.
I love how they just stay in place.
It's great.
It's like the 2 legs.
The sharpest thing ever.
Even in the arcade.
Yeah.
So this is the move, but even in the arcade, the arms would kind of be stuck to the body.
Yeah. His hands are just kind of floating in midair.
Oh my god,
that's great. I mean, this one's got to get an 8. I think 8 out of 10. Because getting chopped multiple times, I know the head right away you're dead, but with this one you're still screaming. So I think you're still in pain. Everything's just hurting you over and over again. Yeah,
I give it a 7. I feel like once your head's off, you're not going to feel the rest. But the hands, bananas.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I don't hear the screaming, obviously, but it's like besides the screaming, I would get pain wise. I feel like it's like lower, like a 6 out of 10, only because that thing is so sharp that it's just
so sharp.
It's just like it doesn't matter. You're dead. It's gone. What does that? It's not like you have like shit hanging off of you or anything.
He's like wet cheese.
He's got to be careful here because he almost cuts himself too. He's got to be really careful.
That's true. Yeah, he should be careful.
Kids,
be careful.
Don't throw your weight out.
Be careful. That one was great. Versus his MK2 one, where he would throw the hat and you have to aim it up. Otherwise, it would just hit you and miss.
Do you remember that, Josh? You had to aim the hat. Like you do the fatality move, which was like that was the down forward,
back forward, low punch or something.
Right. I think you'd hold low punch, back forward, or whatever it was. And then when you threw it, if you didn't aim it, you would just hit him in the chest, and the guy would just fall down.
Oh gosh!
But if you tapped up, like halfway between you and the character
at home, I think it was like tapping up twice, and
it would slowly go up, and it would chop your head off. But if you did it too early, it would just go right over the guy's head, and nothing would happen. It would just say fatality. But
really,
it was crazy. Like I did it the other day. I wanted to practice. I was like, oh my god! If you do it too early, it just goes right over their head, and nothing happens.
And if you do it too late, it just hits them and they fall.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like
it's an interactive fatality.
Yeah, it was like it was like the first interactive fatality. Yeah. Or again, like Josh is saying, maybe it was crunch time, and they're like, I mean, just I don't know. I don't know the meaning behind it, because you could just program the hat to just rise up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was neat that you had to. Maybe they were like, well, put these kids to work.
I kind of like that you had to aim it, but it was pretty hard. Because you know what? If you aimed it wrong in the arcade, people would shit on you, like, "Yeah, you suck." Even though you would beat somebody, if you missed the fatality, people would rag on you, like, guys.
So that's why I never. Now that I think about it, that's the other reason why I never did fatalities, was that I probably, like, fucked it up one day and it got just harassed. Like, oh, you didn't do it right. So I was like, you know what? I'm never going to do this. I'm not even going to bother doing this.
I was the opposite. I had to do it every time. And I knew them all by heart. I memorized every single one. So I'd switch it up. I'd wow the crowd. You know what I mean? So I was that person. But I when the computer doesn't do it to me, if they beat me, I get mad. I'm like, come on, just put auto fatalities on. Like, I want to see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the game.
I also love that I never knew what the fatalities were, and then in the doc, just to go full circle, in the doc, I love that it was like that Ed put them in. He didn't want anyone to find them.
Yeah,
and it's crazy to me, and to this day,
how fast they were found out. It's nuts.
To this day, I don't understand how. Like, do you know, Josh, at all? Did arcade owners get manuals with the fatalities in them?
No. So that's the thing. That is one of the craziest things, is that there was no modern internet back then.
Yeah.
So kids would
like CompuServe.
But so kids would like write things down on paper, and there are stories of not just Mortal Kombat, but also NBA Jam and all these, because there were Easter eggs in all these games that kids were selling sheets of paper with the codes.
Yes. I remember this.
Yeah, and a lot of times, and the arcade owners would get kind of pissed after a while, but then they realized, wait a second, all the secret stuff is making kids come back and spending more money, so they loved it. But it was like, it then, nowadays, if you find something, it's out on the internet instantly worldwide. But back then, it was a slow burn, and I think a lot of the success of these games was because of that slow burn. Like, you weren't discovering things right away, so you were like, let's say you would discover 5 of the fatalities. Now you're gonna master that for a week, and then you find out, oh, there's another 5, and now you're gonna go back and play it again, and it just went over a long period of time. Whereas now it's like everything gets revealed,
it's all there.
And just you're gonna binge on it, and then you're done after a week. So it was a time in history where only during that time can something like that happen. It would never happen again.
It's crazy that somebody figured out, like, I do forward, down, forward, low punch. See what happens.
Crazy.
Like, why would they even do that? Because that's not even that's not a Street Fighter move. It's not a Mortal Kombat. Like, how would they figure that out?
And also, there was a spatial part.
Yeah.
So
you had to be
a jump away, very close, far screen.
You would jump back as mid, and then sweep distance was I think tapping back once or something. But just to this day, I wish there was some way to find out, like, who's
the first person? Yeah.
Like, Ed made them so no one could figure it out. They weren't that complicated, but they were enough that it was weird. How the ether just figured it out.
It just, like I said, it was like the slow. And then back then, magazines were really important,
Game Pro, stuff like that.
Yeah, so they would be scouring information and compiling things and such and getting them out there. But even then, you had to go buy a magazine, so it wasn't like everybody went out and bought a magazine. But to this day, it still is amazing to figure out how did millions and millions of kids get this information back then. When
it's crazy,
it wasn't like they can just email or text somebody that info. But it was like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go on, Josh.
No, but it was real currency back then. That's the thing. That knowledge was real currency. And there's I have this letter from an arcade owner, basically complaining to the CEO of Midway that, hey, your game designers need to be reined in because there are kids selling codes. It's almost like a black market thing, and kids shouldn't be doing that and stuff.
Great.
Yeah, it was wild.
Awesome.
I think I might have. I don't know if I bought one, but I remember seeing these lists, and I got one because I needed to know. I needed to know the fatalities for MK1. I needed to From what?
From a magazine or from a person?
No, from a person. From like from another kid at the arcade. I needed to know because I was that kid eventually that knew all the codes, knew all the fatalities. I feel like the Scorpion one might have been an accident. Up, right? It's just hold block and push up, and you do the flame. But even if you did it by accident, you're probably like, how the fuck did I just do that?
Yeah,
because you don't really push up, maybe. Who knows? So. But then eventually it's like, how did they learn? And it just, like you said, it grew so fast across the whole country. Like immediately people knew how to do this. And it was just amazing.
Yeah. No, it was crazy.
It was all coveted in knowledge too. If you're like, how'd you do that? It was always like an older kid was like, shut up. All right, I'll just go. Bye.
I'm going to go buy me some smokes because I'm 16.
I'm going to go read my Playboys. Luther. Oh man,
that's all. Do you want to keep going, Josh, or do you got to run?
I got to run in a bit, but let's. I can do a couple more and then.
Okay, yeah. Any more favorites? We got Kano, Jax, Katana, Reptile, Ermac, Sindel, Striker.
What? I never liked Striker, but
nobody liked Striker. He was a cop. Let's do Striker as a cop.
Striker was like someone's dad was a character in the game. You're like,
I always wonder whatever happened to the actor who played Striker. Now that I think about it,
that's your next documentary.
Oh my god,
Striker, where is he?
Can you imagine if he became like a real cop? You know,
Striker nowadays would be like if someone was doing a Kickstarter for this game and you'd pay $5,000 to be in the game. Striker would be that character, like just a kind of out of shape sort of guy with like a dumb outfit.
He looked like a cop referee. He was like a blue. He had worked at a sports store and he was like, "Hi, can I help you?"
He had a few cool moves, but he was just kind of like a clown. Like nobody really liked to use him. So this fatality is, I think, kind of awesome. Where he straps a bomb.
Cool.
He straps a bomb to you, jumps away. I love this part. Where he does the
I love that. That's pretty cool.
Where he covers his ears. It's great.
That's what they teach you at Bomb Squad. Is like if the bomb's gonna go off, cover those ears.
Do a backflip away from your person. So it's a pretty funny one. It's kind of like he's sort of a silly.
And he fires a gun in victory.
Right?
That's like they add insult to injury.
It's so great. I mean, getting exploded by TJ. What do you give this one? Getting exploded by a bomb.
Let's see. Strike air, bomb belt. I give it a 5. I mean, it's like
I give 6. Yeah.
You know, it's just so it's so weird. It's such a weird one because Striker, I think, was in later MKs. I have to remember, but like his arsenal in MK3 wasn't even that. I don't even know if he shot his gun. I'd have to look it up.
He had like the baton toss. Yeah, I think he did shoot a gun.
He did shoot a gun. Yeah, I think one of those guys was shooting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like I give it a 5. It's like I mean, it's not that it hurts, but it can happen in real life.
No. That's true. Yes. I mean, Josh, what do you give the bomb?
I think like a 6. I mean, it's pretty instantaneous. You know, I noticed it's like how many bones are there? I'm just counting bones at this point.
Not a ton.
So this one does pretty relaxed with the bone count.
Well, it's also this is like I said, this might be the Game Boy Advance version.
So that's
true. Like we have 5 ribs.
That's all the ribs.
The arcade, though, trust me, I watched all of these. It was a lot of bones.
Yeah. And then his second one, the taser, which is kind of cheesy. He just tases you,
and then you fall.
And he shoots his gun again, though, in celebration, like a putz.
But yeah, so it looks like a hand mixer to make brownies.
Ooh, it might be. It might be.
It's like a roto-rooter thing, like a pipe cleaner or something.
Yeah, he's like, after this, I'm gonna go unclog me.
Well, he's using it on Smoke the robot, so maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
I give this one a 2.
Oh my god, me too.
Yeah. I mean, it's
anytime we back him up.
If you exploded, maybe if blood comes, maybe, but nothing. You just pass out.
You're not necessarily dead. Yeah, I think a 2 is about right. Yeah, because you didn't really die. You got a little shock. And
it's a fatality. Come on, it's not a ouchality. It's
fatality. Yeah, it's pretty like meh. Again, this happens in real life that you're gonna get tased by your friends or whatever, and be like, oh, ow, and then.
It would be funny if Strike was like built as like the first real life participant in Mortal Kombat, a cop. Boom! No. And he was just like, and he's got these corny moves. Yeah, he was. I mean, testing Johnny Cage was a real person. Liu Kang, I guess, also is a Sonya, but most of them are just kind of like they start getting weirder and weirder. Yeah. And here comes this regular ass human.
Yeah.
You're like, nah, man, give me a demon. Give me Shiva with like 4 arms. That's what we want, you know?
Yeah.
So you're like, let me get the beat cop that tried to arrest me in the mall.
His outfits. I mean, come on, Stryker.
Come on, Stryker.
Good stuff. Anyway, all right.
Weird hat.
Who else we got here? We got Cabal was a new one here.
Cabal was one of my favorites. You remember Cabal, Josh? Demon?
I love Cabal.
And he was awesome in the movie, by the way. They nailed him.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I'm hoping it comes back to HBO Max soon.
Figure out.
You should definitely check it out. It really I think that it was good.
Yeah.
I had problems with it, but
I like Cabal because he reminds me of like the Tusken Raiders, you know, and it had that look. And that was always, as a kid, that was always my like favorite Star Wars like character designs. They just looked so crazy looking, you know.
Yeah, he was definitely a cool looking character. So his first one here, where he pumps your head up,
yes,
and you float in the air, and then boom, and of course
rains.
A lot of legs are falling right here. This one was cool.
In fact, heads don't do that.
Well,
wait, what?
In Outworld they do. This is a pretty funny one, and I think pretty painful. Josh, what do you think this one gets?
I would give it a 7. I mean, you got the pain of your head inflating,
right?
You know, so that's painful, and it's like a 2-parter, you know. And then you go up in the air. Oh, it seems like it's kind of fun, and then ends up with.
Yeah, I gave it a 9. Look, I grew up with migraines every day. I had a lot of congestive problems in my nose, and it hurts. Getting it exploded like that probably kills. And then, like you said, 2 parts. You're floating, which this seems fun, but then you explode. And you're done. So I gave it a 9.
You exploded, and everyone realizes that your head has a bunch of rib cages and femurs.
Yeah.
I give it an 8. I'm with on the 8. I think the head blowing up the head itself is going to hurt, and then you go up and you're like, "This is fun," and then
that's gonna
boom, Cabal.
His next one is so weird. Because I think
this was a weird one of the
it was unexpected.
They brought it back in MK11, which was super fun.
So he takes his mask off, and all of a sudden,
I like this one. This is Large Marge.
Exactly, you're Large Marge, and he literally scares the shit out of you.
I think I like this one a lot. This is just too damn fun. It's so unexpected, you know.
Yeah, I think it's cool factors.
Blades. He runs fast. He has a saw that he throws on the ground. And then this was his fatality. His Large Marge sent you. And then your soul gets so scared it pops out of your body and then runs.
Yeah. This is cool.
I give it a 2. Yeah, give it a 4.
I give it
as far as for pain.
Because I don't know how much it hurts to lose your soul.
Right.
Because out of body experiences happen, like, you know. I mean, they're not. Now I sound like I'm crazy. I don't believe in it. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Someone was like, I floated above my body, but god damn it hurt so bad leaving up. And then,
plus, you're kind of dead inside anyway, dude.
Me, yes, I am very dead inside.
What do you think, Josh?
I think a 5. You know,
okay.
It's not. I mean, I think the execution of it is awesome, but it's not very painful.
Right. Yeah. There we go.
That was great. Well, that was fun, man.
Want to do one more?
Which one?
One more, Josh, or you
want to do one more?
Let's do one. Let's do one fun one.
A good one. Now we got to pick a good one.
Yeah.
You want to pick Katana, Reptile, Jax?
Let's do Katana.
Cool.
I've always liked Katana.
I loved her in MK2. She's my favorite.
Yeah. People loved her.
My favorite.
So is this 2 or 3 right here? This is
3.
That's 3. That's 3. Yeah. So similar. She had a similar 1 and 2 though. Also.
Yeah, she had that one. And again, like Josh talked about, like it's a great pose. That's just
it's awesome.
Very figure 8-ish and like, you know,
non-flamenco-ish.
Yeah. It was like, so in MK2, she had the same thing. She opened her fan, she cut your head off, and that was it. So this is the same thing. It's like, you know, some of these characters had the same one. Scorpion had the toasty, and then she had this one, the same thing again.
Yeah.
But again, I give this one a 5 because it's like, you're getting your head cut off.
Well, I mean, it's gonna hurt getting your head cut off.
It's gonna hurt. Yeah, I get it.
What do you give this one? I give it a 5 too, actually. I just realized.
Ooh.
I don't know. I would give like a 6. I mean, it's such a clean cut. It's an instant death, you know. So that pain wise, I think it's fairly mild.
Yeah.
Notice how her outfit turns from looks like green to blue here for some reason. It looks like.
Oh yeah.
Well, that could also be the gift, but yeah, this
it could be one.
That's weird.
Her next one, she kisses you, which is nice.
Same thing.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. where you just get.
Remember in MK2, she had the kiss of death, but you would you'd blow up like a balloon.
I remember the audio. I think this one is pretty high on the pain threshold.
It was crack.
Right? Yeah. This is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, I gave this one a 8.
Oh, me too.
Nice.
An 8.
Yeah.
I feel like you see your bones and all your skin and your bones are stretching.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah. No, I would say it's an 8 too. Yeah. It's pretty painful.
I don't know how it happens or what, but it's
what
definitely
kind of lipstick is she wearing that makes you explode or stretch out?
Some cheap CVS brand, it's just like it's not been FDA approved.
Yeah. Someone's like, "Did you read the label?" She's like, I like the color, and like,
there's a warning on the back.
Yeah, you're killing. She tries to eat a hot dog and it just stretches out. Like,
oh boy,
man. Super fun.
That was awesome.
Josh, I really appreciate you sticking around and doing it.
No, that's super fun, guys.
No, it was. So people, seriously, insert coin documentary about conquering the world one quarter at a time.
Great.
It's about the rise and the fall, but mostly the rise of Midway and how some of the most popular, awesome arcade games ever. He was a part of it. Made a documentary about it. The people in there are awesome. They're fun to hear them talk about everything.
Cool that you worked there. I didn't realize you worked there, which is badass.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, no, it was like, it was great times there. And so it's like I said, it's I was just shocked that nobody that thought about this era in gaming before. So I was like, well, why not do it? I lived through this, so why not me?
And you had the connections, you knew how to get, so that's awesome. Yeah.
It's just what made the doc good is it was made, like I said, it was made from a person who worked with these guys. You were these guys. You knew these guys. It didn't feel outside invasive. It felt very made with like, check out this whole thing I did. I worked here. It was awesome. Look what happened. It just was great.
Yeah. Maybe that's why like people like Jarvis, like Eugene Jarvis, and they were just they feel like they wanted to tell you everything and they couldn't wait to tell you the story, which is cool. Maybe they were excited about it. So
that's exactly it. Yeah. It was wild. It was super fun to make.
Where can they find Insert Coin?
Right now, it's on all the major VOD video on demand platforms, so Amazon, iTunes, Vudu, and then it's on Blu. You can get on Blu-ray with bonus materials.
Worth it.
Yep, and you can get that on Amazon and also at insertcoindoc.com has links to the store and everything.
Awesome! It is so fun to watch. Anybody who's a fan of this stuff, it's great. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. Thanks, Josh, so much for joining us. It was awesome. Man.
Yeah. Oh no, hey guys, thanks for inviting me. I had a blast, and boy, now I'm going to be thinking about these animalities. Like what the hell are people? I have to ask some questions about that.
You'll never look at the same way again.
I know, right?
So watching those MK2, MK3 fatality videos and just give yourself 22 good minutes.
Jeez.
All right,
man.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks
so much.
You take care, dude.
Thank you.
All right. Oh man, Brian, I love it. What a great show we had. What a long one, but what a worthy one.
Yes.
So great. Dude.
Super fun. Josh was awesome. The doc is awesome. MK3 is awesome.
Josh Shea, right?
Sway.
Josh Sway, dude, awesome. I hope he makes more docs, dude. I can't touch on enough how that doc it moves. It's interesting.
Yeah.
And again, when it was over, I was bummed. I was like,
me too.
Oh, I wanted more. So I really hope he makes more docs and makes more stuff. But great dude.
We should have asked what his next thing was.
Yeah, we should have.
I'm sure he's doing something.
Brian, what a great job.
Yep. Can we still add him to the stream? He's still there. It looks like kind of.
That's cool. All right, man, why don't you kill the stream? And thanks for everyone watching. Brian, where can they find you? If I wanted to make a documentary about a Twitter handle and a podcast, what would it be?
At Laugh at Brian and my podcast, Playable Characters Podcast, where I interview video game characters every week at Playable Podcast.
So fun. You can follow me at TJ Del Reno all across social media, and you can follow the show at Unlimited SXM on Twitter and Unlimited Lives on Facebook. Join the group, like the page. You can see our Twitch channel and our YouTube channel. So fun, Brian.
So fun.
I cannot wait to curl up in bed and read my 4th issue of Playboy magazine. There was an article about the Viper, the new car coming out because the issue from 1974. All right, Brian.
Okay, should we stop
Is the
this?
stream still on?
It is.
Okay.
Should I end it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
end the audio.
People were watching, but people weren't commenting. But whatever. Next time.
Next time.
Okay. And
I'll get you, Cyrax. Next time.